Johnny Knoxville arrived in the mail! Hey guys, welcome. Oops. Hey guys, welcome to the video. Today we just have another mail opening. I know it's not Monday, and I know we've only had one upload so far this week. This is technically the second upload this week, and we're getting another mail opening. That's a bit crap, isn't it? The way things have fallen, it's just not worked out getting a second upload out this week. I might try and get one done for tomorrow, so you'll have them back to back. But this is the Johnny Knoxville special, so we have to do the mail opening, and it's actually a pretty decent mail opening as well. So we got Johnny Knoxville. We need to get him open as soon as possible. He can't wait. He can't stay in there. He's got too much ADHD to stay in that box for even a single other second. And after that, we have got a single figure to open as well. And after that, we have got a small wrestling figure bundle to open as well. And after that, we have got a larger wrestling figure bundle to open as well. It's a pretty big mail opening because, you know, I've been meaning to open these bits all week. And we're going to have to open Johnny Knoxville, so we need to crack on with the rest of it, because we're not going to get into a thing again where we are opening mail over the course of 7 weeks. We are just going to get into it all right now. So, of course, the first thing we're going to open is our Elite Johnny Knoxville from Smyths Toys. Elite 101 is now available on the Smyths Toys website for home delivery. So, yeah, we've got Johnny Knoxville in this. We've been waiting for this since the second he announced that he was going to be in last year's Royal Rumble. The second he announced that, you know, we were like, let's get this Johnny Knoxville figure. I was pretty confident we'd get one, but I wasn't certain. If I'm completely honest, I don't really like his wrestling attire. I think it's, I know it's what he's going for, but I do think it just looks really stupid. So I would have preferred a different figure, but I digress. I've dropped it straight on the floor. Let's try that again. But I digress. We've got the Johnny Knoxville figure. We could have not gotten it. You know, Mattel could have just not made it. I felt quite confident they would, but they could have just not. But here it is, the Johnny Knoxville Elite 101. Now, this is amazing. Now, I did originally think, I knew I was going to do a mail opening as soon as I got this. I did originally think it was going to be the first mail opening that segues into an NW opening, and we crack it straight open. But that's not going to happen because we've got all this other mail to do. Well, maybe we'll NW open this tomorrow. We have got American Nightmare, Cody Rhodes, Kevin Owens, Johnny Knoxville, Mr. America, Ricochet, Sonya Deville. Good series for some people. Just the Johnny Knoxville for me, I think. I'm happy with my Codys. Don't need Mr. America. No one else really of interest there for me. And now we've got our Johnny Knoxville figure. If these get reduced at some stage, I might be tempted to pick up a couple of more. I might do one where he's got like younger hair, like repaint the hair. I might head swap him onto a different body or something. It might be difficult to get a decent sort of body shape and size for him, but I digress. There we go. We've got Johnny Knoxville. So, probably don't need to wobble on about that any longer. But how cool would it be if they did a 2-pack from way back of Steve-O and Chris Pontius? And I'm a little bit disappointed that they didn't do the classic WCW figure move and give him Wee Man as an accessory. That would have been really cool as well. You know, it's enough to ask for. We got the Johnny Knoxville. That's the important part. So I'm pretty happy with that. But it would have been cool. I feel like if they'd made more Jackass people, I said this at the time, I said this when Wasted Wrestling did a post about this figure. He said it'd be great if they did Pontius and Steve-O, and I said if they did that, I'd probably sell all my other figures and just make Jackass animations. But we are waffling on a little bit here. The Johnny Knoxville is the main part of this video, but we do have a lot more to get through right now. So let's just crack on. This is an Amazon parcel. What is it? It's printer ink. We've been doing a lot of reselling lately. Not a lot is sold, but my printer's giving up the ghost anyway. It insists that it isn't low on ink, but it isn't printing anything, and it doesn't say that anything else is wrong with it. So that's just that's to test that out. Now let's open the big bundle next. This is really interesting. It's mostly to sell, and this is actually something I picked up off a trade group. The guy did this massive post with really good prices, and no one seemed all that interested, so I went for it. And it looks like he missed one out, and I have to sellotape it retroactively, so let's try and get into that first, I think. And it was a bit of a shame. It's a good thing I look back on things, because the bundle that I got, where it was like, you guys will see this bundle in like 2 weeks time, but there was a figure in there that I assumed was going to be worth quite a bit of money, and it's not really. So I'm glad we saw that after doing that bundle opening, because then I just said to this guy, actually, I don't want that figure. And I wish I'd done it for a few more, because there are a couple of things in here I should have just not bought. But I digress, you know, it's pretty interesting. And unfortunately, I did last minute notice that he had a classic Superstars Vince McMahon there for £2. And I was like, yeah, I'll take that. Because if you guys haven't seen, you can get £20 on eBay for a classic Superstars Vince McMahon. So I would have totally picked it up for £2. But the guy couldn't find it. You know, it is what it is. So the first thing we've got here is a Jakks Pacific cane. Now, I always loved this attire, but if I'm completely honest, I must have been on autopilot when I asked this guy for it, because it was definitely there in the list. This is kind of sticky as well, actually. You know, what is it with the sticky figures recently? At least some of it's because of that Jakks rubber, you know, so these are just ridiculous. But yeah, I love this cane look, and I always loved this figure, but I wouldn't have thought I cared enough to pick it up. Maybe it'll have some money behind it, I don't really know. But yeah, I must have been on autopilot. There was, you know, this guy had so much stuff. I just left a comment saying, is this available? Is this available? Is this available? And then when I looked back, I was like, the cane, why did I ask for that? But yeah, you know, it'll look great on a shelf, or, you know, it might resell really well. You can see the looseness of the Jakks arms just going already there. And now let's get into the main part of this parcel. So some of this is to keep, some of this is to sell. But the point is, the guy had such incredible offers on these figures. I don't know how no one was, like, some people will get some stuff, but I don't know how people didn't just snap it up. I was tempted to just message him saying, can I just take everything you've got left? Because he had so much cool stuff. There was like, I think it was one like £5 per elite or something like that, and there was like the Christian, the young Christian with the yellow trunks, and I thought, that's ridiculous, but I'll leave that for someone else. So the first thing that's reaching out here, higher than everything else, is this Deluxe Aggression Big Show. Now, I think he was asking £2 for this, and I have sold one of these in the past for £20. I did look around the time, they've come down a little bit, and it's kind of like, it's a bit rarer of one to see, so the like listings and sold listings and stuff aren't that reliable, because you don't know what you're actually going to get for it. But they've come down a little bit, but we can still make a mad profit on this. So that was the first one we were going to pick up to sell on, is that Big Show. Next up, what did we have here? He wanted like a couple of pounds. Actually, this is not in very good condition. You know, I recently picked up the Earl Hebner, and I've been wanting to pick up more referee figures that I can break the arms off in the mail opening videos. How good are Jakks Pacific figures? I mean, I was saying that this guy was in terrible condition, but that is not what I meant. Alright, well, there's a Eric Bischoff referee figure with his head really high up, crap all over his face, and loads of paint wear with an arm missing. You know, I got the Earl Hebner recently. I did want to increase the amount of referee options I have. This is not going to do that, unfortunately. It's just a bit of a somber point in the video. So let's pull it back around a little bit. Again, £5 elites. And, you know, I never picked one up with this guy. Really not my favourite figure of his. It's probably my least favourite, actually, because the head I just really don't like. But for £5 or whatever he was asking for elites, I thought I'd take this Samoa Joe. Really don't like this head. Don't particularly care for the colour scheme either. The blue and black's nicer. The yellow and black's nicer. The NXT head scan was, like, way better. The Survivor Series head scan was way better. This is just a terrible head scan, in my opinion. But, you know, it's not bad at all. It's good to have Joe around, just in case. And if not, we can always sell him on. We've lost a little bit of money there on that Eric Bischoff, but I'm quite confident that we got such good deals on everything else, and so on, that it's not a big deal. I think he only wanted like £2 for the Eric Bischoff or something. So let's go to one that I possibly should have just left, and that is El Torito. Now, I picked this up for the fun of it. Very loose torso joint there as well. I picked this up because I was asking like £6 for it, I think. I didn't realize that's actually a common price for it. I thought this was actually fairly rare. When I looked on eBay, you can definitely just pick these up for £6. So I didn't really need to bother with that. I could have just done that at any time. But, you know, we got it now. It's not as pointless as the other figure we picked up in this regard, which is a Jack's Hornswoggle, and I will get onto that in a second. Look at the size of its head. It is absolutely enormous. Now, all Hornswoggle figures have a bit of value behind them, so I thought this was worth picking up. I think he asked for £4 for this, so we will now be sticking that straight on eBay, because I realised shortly after that the Mattel Hornswoggles actually aren't that expensive. So let's get into the last couple of things here in this bundle. It's not gone as well as I sort of wanted. I think that Eric Bischoff arm breaking off has just absolutely took the thrill out of it a little bit. But we got my old Brock Lesnar, the one that was featured in the DSW Royal Rumble. I got one of these really cheap when I first got back into collecting, but it was in terrible condition, so I ended up selling it again once I started reselling. And this one is, it seems fine. I mean, the thing I like about it is that it's a young Brock, so it doesn't have the dick sword on him. And obviously, the other day, we picked up that Brock Lesnar with the head scan that I prefer. So I can swap that onto this and have a young Brock head that I like, and not have to bother with the one with the top knot at all, actually. And not have to use a modern Brock at all. But yeah, this thing's in more or less fine condition. The one, it's... the ab joint is maybe, I mean, you can do some real belly dancing there. I don't know if you guys can see his head going back there. You can do some real moves there. Again, nice and cheap. So, I thought it was worth picking up. I thought we may as well. If nothing else, we can probably make a profit on it. And the last thing I picked up is a bit of a weird one, but I realized I was treating the guy harshly in my mind. And I had never seen this figure before. I had no recollection of this figure, so I went for it. And it's a yellow Sabu. I don't recall having seen this before, so I thought, you know what, we'll take that. And there is like super glue right the way down his chest. There is loads of paint wear on the trunks. He's got the discoloured arms and head, so I am probably going to sell this on rather than hold on to it, which was a possible plan since I turned against Sabu and then I sold all my Sabu Jax figures. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know I'm not overwhelmed with how well that's gone, if I'm completely honest. Not even just the Eric Bischoff, I feel like everything's fell flat a little bit there. So we'll get these back in here, and we'll try and rootle around on the floor for the little bit of plastic that just broke out of Eric Bischoff's shoulder. So we'll continue in chronological order. We'll go to the next bundle. This one's really good. This one was so cheap it couldn't not be good. Another waffly story. Back in the day when I first got back into collecting, Argos had the NXT TakeOver Elites for £5, and at one point £3.50. Me and a friend went once, and it had a Nakamura, and he took it for £5. And in the end, like, as time's gone on, I've realised that is my favourite Nakamura, because it's like pirate attire. And of course, me being very stubborn, I didn't want to pay more than £5 for it. So here is a bundle with it in it that I paid less than £5 for. Well, I paid more than £5 for the bundle, but when you factor in the other figures, the Nakamura was less than £5. I think I paid something like £7 for this whole bundle, and obviously it's not a very big one. I was actually quite intrigued as to how they'd stuffed it in here, to be honest. It's, it's a very, very, very small box. Everything else is, there's more or less nothing of real interest there. We will be just bundling those back up and sending them back out as soon as we can. Oh, it's in a Pokemon Celebrations box. My hair's just not cooperating today, is it? Okay. It's not even just the Eric Bischoff figure that ruined that one. I feel like the condition of the figures kind of hampered it a little bit. But, the guy, I mean, we're making money on that bundle regardless. Guy is under no obligation to send us figures in good condition. That's the way that the game goes. I could have asked for close-ups in future, I might. But, I mean, everything, you had no reason to suspect that there was anything wrong with it. I can't believe there's 5 wrestling figures in an ETB. So now I'll try and get this tape off. Right, so let's get into it, guys. Okay, so the first thing we've got here, actually this is pretty good. These have a weird, like, small amount of value to them. It's a Tough Talker's John Cena. I picked one of these up recently, and it made that noise, which implies to me that that actually is a battery low kind of noise rather than the voice box is broken kind of noise. So that fills me with confidence getting that one and the other one listed. Next up, we have a basic Dean Ambrose. Nothing of interest or salvageable value there. We have a little tiny Rumblers John Cena. I think I might be starting to get enough Rumblers to bundle them up and sell those on. And here we go. NXT TakeOver, Shinsuke Nakamura with his big jacket on, looking really, really cool. Actually in really good condition. It could do with a bit of a fig bath. There is a bit of dirt in those knee joints there, but basically speaking, it's looking pretty good. There's not an awful lot of paint wear that I can see. Hopefully those joints are in good condition. The jacket's looking really good condition. So that will be popping up in DSW at some stage. I don't know how far from now, but it will be happening. And the last thing we have here, another Japanese wrestler. It's actually in better condition than it looked, but it's still not great. It's a Jax Tajiri. Now, I once thought about trying to collect Tajiri figures and just never pulled the trigger on it. This one is not the one I would keep for this copy, but you know, it's a pretty novel figure. He's got the green on his mouth. He's got pretty interesting trunks. There's just a lot of paint wear. That waist joint's very loose, and there's obviously paint wear on the hair as well. But yeah, that's a really good bundle. For the sake of, like, you know, we're chipping back a couple of pounds for all the other figures, and then we got the Nakamura, cheap as chips. And we'll finish it off with this little one, very, very little, actually. It's a guy who I never had any interest in until he started popping off recently, because he's just such a cool guy. And we have already seen him in this mail opening video. This is a 3-man band WLC Hornswoggle. I saw this listed and I took it to about £9.75 is what I won it for. And yeah, I'm happy enough with that. It's just daft. Like this and El Torito, I just know I'm going to come up with daft stuff to use it for. There's a little bit of paint where he's got a little bit missing from the eyebrows, a little bit missing from the, can't bring me down. Got a little bit of red on that shoulder there as well. But generally speaking, he's in pretty good condition. I didn't really get a great deal on this. You know, I didn't nearly pay a tenner for it, but I am happy with what I paid. So that's all that really matters in the end. And that's why I didn't need to pick up that Jack specific one. But we can stick it on eBay and see what they go for and buy it nowadays. I think they used to be like a tenner. So £4 into a tenner. It's not a lot of money, but it is a profit. Like that after fees and everything, that is a profit. But that is just about everything from the DSW Network Johnny Knoxville mail opening special. So thank you guys for watching, and goodbye.